Welcome to the Empowered Women channel with your host, Coach Dee. Coach Depo, a certified leadership coach and author, brings you the Word of God today. It is our hope that today's message will encourage and empower you to do great things in your life. Be blessed as you listen.
Okay, I want to welcome everyone to this program where we're talking about healing after abuse. Last week we talked about abuse and how abuse has increased in the church. We're not talking about the world now, we're talking about the church. And so with the church, there's so much going on. And last week we talked about the church and abuse. But what we want to talk about today, and this is why I have Reverend Funke with me, what we want to talk about today is, yes, there may have been abuse, you may have encountered abuse, you may have gone through abuse, but there is healing. Healing is possible. There's healing on the other side of trauma. It doesn't matter how long the trauma went on for. We do know that healing is possible. And that's why we have Reverend Dr. Funke Adetuberu here. She's a dynamic, multifaceted woman. She's a woman of God. She's full of substance and virtue. And she believes that every woman must die empty. What does that mean? You must fulfill your purpose. Everything that you came into the world with, you must deliver to your generation and beyond. Yeah. She has a mandate to restore people, to bring hope to her generation, and she has positively impacted many lives and continues to influence her generation with powerful, life-changing messages. I've known Dr. Adetuberu for some time, and she was instrumental in my healing as well. She has written books. She's a prolific author. She's the founder of the Women College of Ministry, Men College of Ministry, School of Finishing Touches. I told you she's multifaceted, right? She's the founder of Mending Lives Foundation. It's non-governmental, but it's targeted at assisting the less privileged and, most importantly, the emotionally damaged. Now, one thing I can tell you about Reverend Funke is that she understands pain, she understands trauma, and she knows about healing. She's a counselor, she's a therapist, she's a woman of God. I can't even, there's no end to it. You know, but it is my honor and my pleasure to welcome you, Reverend Dr. Funke Adetuberu.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for the privilege to be here today because when it comes to abuse, anyone that has been through that, the first thing you're looking for is safety.
Yes.
You want to be in a safe place. You want to be sure you are heard, you are listened to.
Right.
There's empathy, there's sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important to a person that is being abused to know that this person understands abuse.
Right.
Where there is no value, abuse is inevitable.
Correct.
What is abuse? Is an abnormal use.
Abnormal use.
It's abnormal. That's abuse. You use it abnormally. What's supposed to be useful, it's being used abnormally. So abuse is important to understand the pain, the pang, the pressure, the mental, emotional, psychological pain that comes with abuse. The pain is so excruciating that sometimes you can't even explain it. You can't, nobody feels you. You are the only one that feels the pain, not because people are not around you, but the truth is you are the one living with the abuser. You are the one feeling the heat. You are the one that is being gaslighted. You are the one that is being smear campaigned. You are the one that is living in a world of asking some questions that nobody is answering you. So you wear the shoes, you know where it hurts. And it hurts so deeply that sometimes you can't even walk. You are just tiptoeing. You are walking on eggshell because the shoe is hurting. So you must understand that anybody that is going to be talking about these dynamics must have felt this pain touched it and handled it, or else it's just going to be lies, makeup, cosmetic, and facade. And that's why, you know, I don't blame the church, because many people on the pulpits, vice versa, they don't really know what is going on, because they believe when you are born again, you are all completely born again. They don't know that we are tripartite being. We have a spirit, we have a soul, we have a body. When we are born again, it's our spirit that is born again. Our soul and our body is not born again. But people assume when you are born again, you shouldn't be having addiction problem. You should not be an abuser. You should not be toxic. You should be heavenly cautious back to back. But that's not the truth. So
you're right.
Thank you.
Right. You're right, Dr. Adetuberu. You're very right. And I remember we had this conversation. So I had gone through, she's a therapist. And if anybody needs therapy, I would recommend her.
Thank you.
When I first came out of abuse, I went through therapy through my job. You know, my
because therapy
my bosses said, no, my bosses said, look, you need to go through therapy. And my job offers, you know, therapy sessions for free. So I did that. And then the church I attend, I went through therapy there. And then it was after that I spoke to you and you said, you need to do the Nigerian therapy.
Because it's our challenge is culture.
Yes. Our culture, everything.
Yeah.
That was the spice. That was, you know, the difference in what I did first with what I did with you. And that is why I would, you know, say, yes, I recommend you. And I remember very well that you said to me, we always need to go to the root. And you also said to me that first time you met my husband, that you knew something was off. You just couldn't figure what it was, you know, and that you were not surprised that it was an abusive situation. Now, the question I want to ask you is, as an outsider, because I kept wondering how many other people knew. And I remember one of my mentors saying the first time she met my husband, she said, something is wrong. This guy doesn't, you know, how many other people knew, right? And then second, I've been wondering, and then I said, how did Dr. Adetuberu know? So what are some of the things you look for to help identify an abuser? I don't want to call them narcissists, and you know this.
I actually started campaigning that until you diagnose someone, you cannot give that person a name. Yeah. It's like saying somebody, you saw somebody and say you have cancer. Who diagnosed the person as cancer patient? So they must be diagnosed before 100%. You can confirm that they are narcissists. But the truth is, there were signs of selfishness, self-grandiosity. You just want to, everything is like I, me, myself. You're not thinking about the other person. You are not caring for for your spouse or the children. It's like, is this person here? But the truth is abuse, and it's obvious. We can see it in relationship, especially when you have visitors around you, you know, and you can mask with people outside. But when you have why I knew that there was something wrong with you, in all fairness, is, you know, my son came to stay with you, and it was really, really, I mean, he just told me, Mom, this is like another dad. So I just told myself, I said, okay, that's fine. And I knew you were not finding it easy.
But, you know, I'm grateful that we're here now, we're alive and we're well, right? Yeah. And we want to talk about healing after trauma, after abuse, whether it's a Machiavellian, whether it's narcissistic, whether it's a
sociopath, psychopath,
whatever it is. Abuse is abuse. The one name we give them is abusers. And anybody in the normal community would tell you that she doesn't like to talk about narcissism. And the main reason is that they have not been diagnosed. But with all the things that they do, the woman is left wounded, she's left broken, she's left damaged, and then it's time to heal. Let's talk about what are some steps. So I tell people the first thing is, once you break away, once you break free, first thing is no looking back. Remember Lot's wife, don't look back. You don't want to look back, because we've seen people who went back and they came out in a body bag. So what are some of the things that you would suggest that people do, apart from not looking back, that would help on the healing journey? In our community, we're going to start doing some group sessions to help people, but give us some ideas. I know what I went through with you, so I can, but help us understand what are some of the things that
it depends. There are so many ways to healing from abuse. It's like a web. The truth is, it depends on the depth of the abuse. It depends on the foundation of the person that is being abused. For instance, if your husband is addicted to drugs and you have enabled him over the years, oh, you call in sick for him, you protect him, you tell people you call the boss saying that he was ill and you knew he had hangover. So you have fixed and fixed and fixed. It's so difficult for Mrs. Fix It to break free because you have become trauma bonded. You have been addicted to the abuse. So first thing you should understand is this normal? You should understand and tell yourself, this is not normal. Emotional abuse, psychological abuse, sexual abuse, spiritual abuse, it is not right. Anything, you need to realize that anything that is making you to feel restless, you don't have joy, you don't have peace, there's no moment of ecstasy. Oh, this person I'm looking forward to, is that you just wish he's not around so that you can be sane. When he's not around, you feel, hey, a little bit of
right.
Yeah, exactly. But as soon as, because there's no they don't communicate, you don't know what you would do that will become a thing. You walk on eggshell and all sorts. So you must realize that you are in a toxic relationship and it is abusive. A lot of people don't even know that the man is abusive because religion, tradition had told us God is breaking you. God is dealing with you. You are a child of God. Except a seed falls to the ground and die, it abides alone. So all these scriptures, he's been inculcated to us that we believe that, well, maybe God is dealing with me. And of course, Jesus said something. He said, if a child asks a father for a fish, will he give him a serpent? If he asks for a bread, will he give him a stone? If you then being evil. So if God is my dad and he's training me, then we train our children, but we don't abuse them. We don't cut them with knife. We don't cheat on them. We don't break their hearts. There are things we don't do to them because we love them. Now,
Right.
sometimes love comes with toughness, but it's not abusive. If you understand the relationship we have with Christ, we don't want to hurt him. Even when as believer, you made a mistake, you want to crawl back because the love is much, is deep. So it's not you and, having to be in a married relationship and everything is, you are going to be crushed, you are going to be dealt with. No, it's not like that. Now, way out. Number one, for you to be attracted to an abuser, something is wrong with you fundamentally.
You have trauma as well.
Exactly. Probably
trauma.
That's why when you come to my therapy sessions, I help you to trace it. I have a nickname. Trace it, embrace it, erase it, and start replacing it. You must trace the root, the source of your abuse. Maybe you are from a dysfunctional home. Maybe you are raised by single parents. Maybe you had sexual struggle while you were growing up. Maybe you were raped. Whatever it is that attracted you to this person. A lot of people are attracted to an abuser and they feel, no, my dad and my mom are together, we don't have a problem. But the truth is, children are not the same.
Right.
I've been privileged to go to labor ward several times, but my children are not the same. They have different persona. They don't have the same personality. So if I'm mopping up training, I'm going to abuse one without even knowing. I know there are parents that when they come home and things are not in order, everybody is in trouble, everybody is beaten, and the one that is introverted will be asking, what did I do? And you will not know when that child shuts down. So the truth is, when you are from a dysfunctional home, you naturally get attracted to a man or a woman that is dysfunctional. I don't want to stereotype this to female alone, because we have men too that are being abused, Correct.
Now, so sorry. So let me pause you real quick. When we talk about you had a problem, so the trauma does not necessarily come from the parents.
No, it could be
The
your
trauma
neighbors, your
could be
anybody.
external.
Exactly.
It could be even from school. For
Yeah, it could be
example, to
your
your
teacher
point,
saying things to you.
yes,
Yeah.
your teacher said something to you, and or you were overbeaten, especially for those of us who come from the Nigerian background.
Africa, yeah.
Something happened, and sometimes the issue is my parents were divorced. I don't want to be like my parents.
Yeah, you know, to
And
die
so
there.
the first man that tells me that they love me,
Go for him.
I start to feel wanted, validated. And that's why even in the abusive relationships, we're looking for validation. Sometimes the individual over the years has had many broken relationships. And so finally she or he finds somebody who says, "Oh, I love you." And reminds me of a lady I spoke to. God knows how many women I speak to on a daily basis. It's crazy. It's crazy. She said she's in an abusive relationship and she's refusing to leave because she doesn't want to repeat a pattern.
I'll talk about that shortly.
Her mom left and now she doesn't want to leave. So trauma coming from there, she brings it in and she stays in. So I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
Let's keep
now,
going. Yes, ma'am.
Let me say something about ladies that felt my dad is divorced, my parents are divorced.
Yeah.
I don't want to repeat a pattern. The truth is, staying there, you are still repeating the pattern of your parents. Why? You have children in that home. This is my studio, my office. I have gadgets here. If you and your spouse are hitting each other in the studio, the worst that can happen to this gadget is for them to be dusty. But when kids are in that relationship, they are growing with the storm. So the children you are trying to protect by not leaving the relationship are damaged already.
Correct.
So not leaving does not make it better. It's still the same. You are still going to go back in the same circle, and at the end of the day, it's going to be worse because most people that are in an abusive relationship, they don't take time to take care of themselves first, because we're going to talk about that,
right?
Or take care of their kids. So sometimes when they even exit, they have a kind of excitement in their heart. I'm free finally. They had forgotten that their kids are there. So some of them had to start dealing with children that have drug addiction, sex addiction. They're into call. The kids go haywire, not because they wanted to, but because of the fact that when you were living in an abusive relationship, your emotional life, the psychological life of your children are not well monitored. So you are just unfair to them. So living and exiting is even better. At least you know what to do in therapy. And what I do is I do therapy for parents through their kids, because I know that the joy of every woman at the end of the day, what would you gain? You've lost the man, now you are losing your children. So what will be your gain in the relationship? And it's terrible. I can say that and beat my chest. It's so difficult to have to help kids that are raised in an abusive relationship.
And you know why, ma'am? You know why? Because the children themselves, and we don't realize this, we don't talk about it.
They feel it.
Themselves are victims of the abuse.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's not just the spouse now. It's not just the male or the female. If the female is the one who is the abuser, it's not just the spouse now, but the children who lived through that abuse. Invariably themselves become victims, and they have been traumatized as well. And this is why they too oftentimes need therapy.
Of course they do. 100%. As a matter of fact, they need therapy more than the person that is nurturing them, because you want to have somebody you're looking up to and say, okay, I've lost everything in this man, but at least my children are doing well. And if you don't have the two, then it's a lot.
It is.
Yeah, the children will start acting out. That's the truth.
Right. I was speaking with a woman earlier on today, and she said her child is, now living with a woman and doing drugs.
Yeah. He would live with a strange woman, he would do drugs,
all kinds of things.
Addicted to all sorts, yes.
As a result of the trauma. Because again, we're talking about our pain and, the betrayal, the abuse and everything, but we are forgetting that these children themselves were victims of the abuse. Because the rage, for example, wasn't just limited to the spouse, it was extended to the children as well.
Absolutely.
A man who does not care for his wife will not care for the children.
Where two elephant fights, it's even the grass that suffers.
It is the
and
grass.
some grass don't suffer, some grass will die, depending on the length of the abuse.
Right. So one of the when you talk about die, one of the stories I heard was of a couple who had issues, and it was this same issue of abuse, and they were not talking to each other. Everybody was going. There were two parallel lines in the home, and their child was sick, and because they were not communicating, the mom couldn't tell the dad that the child was sick. Eventually, the child died.
Oops. Oh my days.
Things that trauma cause in the children are indescribable.
Because it's a pattern. The kids are going to get married to, if somebody is not there to break the pattern or the circle, that child will still go and marry somebody that is abusive. So they go back in the same circle. Except you are intentional. After your healing, you are intentional and you put your feet down and start dealing with those patterns. Not everything will just be in the same circle. It's crazy. And this is oblivious to this. It's very sad.
This is one of the reasons why we keep talking, why we keep and saying we need to break the pattern. We cannot, it's an SOS, save our sisters. We cannot allow the trend to continue to the next generation, because honestly, the next generation is at risk if we don't stop this now. Now, Reverend Funke, let me ask you this. In the course of your work and your ministry, can you tell us some of the things that would help a woman who is still in the abuse?
Until denial stops, nothing changes. Most women are dreading. Until denial stops, nothing changes. Most women are comfortable in the abuse because of culture, tradition, religion. You said it, my mom divorced, I don't want to divorce. Now, the truth is, which one is better, death or divorce? You choose. If you are alive, Jesus said, when you are converted, strengthen your brethren. If you are alive, then you'll be able to even help your kids and do something with your life. Meaning that if you are in that relationship and you refuse to exit, you're going to have, if you are not even sick physically, you are sick emotionally, psychologically, and you're struggling to survive. So the solution to this is get out, stop being in denial, name it. You are in a toxic relationship. Stop masking it. We mask a lot. We pretend. We act as if everything is fine, and we know it's not fine. And people around you may not even know because of shame.
Right.
And it's not your fault. Can I just scream it to everyone that needs to hear the sound of my voice? Your husband abuse, his addiction, his personality, whatever it is not your fault. He's the one that has the problem. You don't drink Panadol for somebody else's headache. And that's exactly what the partner of an abuser does. You are fixing it. You are masking it. Nobody will know. Nobody should know. You are jumping. You are dancing to a music. You don't know he's playing the rhythm. You are not the problem. It's the person that is sick that is sick. QED.
It's the person that is sick that is sick. You said you cannot take Panadol for somebody
else's headache. Yes.
Ibuprofen, Panadol,
pain reliever.
You cannot take pain reliever for somebody else.
For another person's sickness. You have to take it yourself.
In other words, you cannot continue to carry the shame. Blind Bartimaeus in the Bible, when he came to Jesus and said, heal me, the first thing he did was, and when Jesus said, come, he took off that garment.
Absolutely.
And that garment represents shame. That garment represents pain. That garment represents everything that is not.
Drop the garment, lose that weight.
Yes,
Lose the weight.
drop the garment of shame.
Lose that weight. It's weighty. Lose it.
Another thing that keeps women in an abusive relationship is, what would people say?
Yeah.
And the root of shame is, what will people say? So they are intertwined.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every time I said, what will people say? What would my family say? I stayed one more day.
It's not your family that is wearing the shoes, man.
Yes. And I think I did a post one time where I said, if the shoes hurt, you change the shoes.
The shoes, yeah.
You take the shoes off. You don't wear them again, right? We're not advocating divorce. We're not advocating.
No.
What we're saying is, remove yourself from harm.
Okay, let me even put it in a very simple way.
So that you
have 2 kids, 2 children are fighting, and it's looking like they're going to hurt each other. You separate them. Separation is different from divorce. Probably when the 2 of you are miles apart, you can think, you can choose to do therapy and obey the instructions of your therapist. And when your doctor, your soul doctor, your therapist is convinced that the 2 of you can come back together, why not? You go back to relationship. So the solution, we are not saying leave and not look back. Sometimes you leave and you don't look back, in all fairness, depending on the depth of the abuse. That was why I said different stroke for different folks. And that's why when a general question comes like that, I'm extremely careful and cautious, because what I would tell A to do, I might not tell B to do it until I clock you and I'm able to understand the dynamics of what exactly is going on. Then I can say, okay, for this reason, exit yourself. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. I have a question in the chat. It says, how do you know you're in denial? Is it possible?
You are in denial? What is denial?
Is it possible to subconsciously be in denial?
Yes, it's possible, because one thing, you are used to the abuse now. It's a norm. Then you start rationalizing. Oh, he's not happy. It's because of this. He's broke. You keep giving alibi for the abuse. So when you start giving, something is making you uncomfortable, you are sick, you are feeling sick on the inside about the relationship, and you are still giving alibi. Now, I'm not talking about somebody that probably is under pressure, maybe your spouse is under pressure and he had to just, steam out in whatever. But by the time he's back to his senses, an abuser will never take responsibility. They will keep blaming you for what they are doing that is wrong.
Right.
They will not accept that. I agree now, maybe you lash out or you do something wrong and you come back to your senses and say, oh, I'm really sorry for what I did. Then we are good to go. But when you are not broken, you are in denial, you are not accepting, you are not taking responsibility, and it's the person that is you that is always taking the blame for what had happened to the person. How do you explain that?
That's not something you can explain. Right? It's not something.
Somebody said the biggest challenge for me is friends and family believing.
So let me respond to that, because we've addressed this question with this same lady in the community.
Okay.
You don't have any business. You are the one wearing the shoes. Why are you worried about family?
No, they are worried because they don't. Now, thank you for being in a community. Let me say this strongly. You cannot be free from this abuse in isolation. You need a strong, solid, I'm choosing my words, support system. And you must be ready to be accountable. Now, most people that are abused or they are in an abusive relationship, some of them have their issues. They have their baggages. So sometimes I make my clients to shift their focus from the abuser and travel inward. Why was I attracted to this person? What damage has my background, where I'm coming from, what damage has it done to me that makes me to be comfortable in this abuse? Because there are a lot of people that you look at them, you just know that this person cannot even shift because she's also not normal. She has weaknesses, she has problems. Some are also addicted to sex. There's no way you'll be attracted to somebody that is dysfunctional and you are not dysfunctional on your side in a way. Somehow, you're also dysfunctional. That's just the truth. It's a law of attraction.
So
the moment...
I'm sorry, one of the things we need to understand is that we have no business worrying about all of these people. You know, we just talked about...
Yes.
We just talked about shame and what will people say. These are things that keep us... I know a lady who, you know, she went back. She went back and it was worse because people kept saying, what will people say? Well, you are the one in the situation. I went back first time, second time, then third time.
Multiple times.
Because for all those times, people will come and say, they will say things.
Especially when it's on the pulpit.
Thank you.
Especially if it's a pastor, it's like,
it doesn't matter who believes you or who doesn't believe you.
It doesn't really matter. Headache is peculiar to the owner.
Standing, and this is one of the things that Reverend Funke told me. Stand in your truth. You know your truth. Stand in your truth. It doesn't matter who believes.
It's your reality.
It's your truth. It's your reality. It doesn't matter who believes you. It doesn't matter who doesn't believe you. In the fullness of time. In the fullness
if there is no fullness of time, leave. Even if there is, please. The point is, a lot of people think, they will understand later. Even if they don't understand, that's their business. You have one life to live. It is appointed for a man wants to die, and after death is judgment. It's your life, please. And the abuser is feeling flies, enjoying himself. He's going to brothels and sleeping around, and you are just in cage. Lose yourself, please.
Praise God. Lose yourself. So somebody said, how do you do therapy or just separation alone with someone that sees no wrong in what they are doing? The truth of the matter is the abuser does not see anything wrong in what they are doing.
They have 1,000 reasons why you must be tortured and be abused.
Right. So separation is always the first step.
Yeah.
Therapy is necessary because, like doctor said, you trace it. You trace it back to how did I get here? We're going to be doing a group session on realignment. And one of the things that the Lord laid in my heart is realignment starts with God, but first of all, you need to be able to trace it. How did I end up here? Why did I marry this guy? And these are questions that you have to answer yourself. These are questions that you have to realign yourself with God, realign with yourself, realign with your soul, your spirit, your everything. Go back.
You connect
to the you that God made in the beginning. In the beginning, when God made the woman, she was meant to be a blessing. And so abuse, like you said, abnormal use.
Abuse is an abnormal use.
They are not doing what God asked them to do. Okay, so let's go back to healing after abuse. Healing is possible.
Yes.
Healing is possible. Please talk to us about healing is possible.
Number one, name the wound. Identify the problem. Accept that this is not right. I have been abused, have been taken for granted, have been maltreated. I have been treated as if I'm not human. Identifying the problem is very, very important. Name it. This is not right. Now, one thing, if the devil wants to destroy a man, it destroys his identity. One thing that abuse does to a man.
Don't preach my sermon.
That's me.
Don't preach my sermon.
No identity. It brings the wounds.
Yes.
Destroys your image. You must be very strong. Now, listen, I just started this devotional. Gentle Still devotional. 30 days of sanity and quench strength in narcissistic or difficult marriage. I've written this book. I've written 4 months since 4 years ago. I've written it. I couldn't bring it out. And I was looking for devotional for this. I could not find one person that will wake up in the morning, day 17, and I'll say, who? Your identity, what would they say? It's not working for me. What would the church say? How would you preach? I am grateful that God did some things for me in my storm that I just knew that it's not my life I'm living. I'm living by the faith of the Son of God who died and gave himself for me. I would have been silenced. I wouldn't have been relevant again. All of a sudden, I just got into media straight up, somehow. God ordered my step, and I started preaching in almost 10 radio stations. At the time when I'm supposed to have been drowned and my identity would have been crushed. I didn't know, but one thing I would say, please build your inner strength, because that is the only, if you look into the law of liberty, look into the scriptures, if I sleep and wake up, is abuse, is toxicity, is verbal abuse. I see it's family system I'm seeing from Genesis to Revelation. I don't know about any other person. So I understand the dynamics of abuse as I know my name, as I'm touching myself like this. I just know it. I studied shattered vows. I will be listening to some messages. I'll be crying like, and those things were strengthening me, building back my identity, knowing that his addiction is not my fault. It's not your fault. Oh, if I had given him sex, he would have not gone out. He would have been sleeping with this Dick, Dom, and Harry. He will still sleep. It's not your fault. The addiction is not in the glands, it's in the brain. He's dealing with his trouble by himself. Some of us, you're in a difficult marriage. You are married to an abuser because of one thing. They have the problem, not you. You are attracted to them because you are also not normal. Look at Rebecca. Look at Isaac. Two of them had a dysfunctional background. So meeting together, they became an accident that was about to happen. In their own family, they have PDP 1, PDP 2. In Nigeria, we have different parties. They have two parties in their home because they were both dysfunctional. And that's why you don't have to, thank God some of you are not in Nigeria. You have traveled abroad, travel into yourself. Two things that will do in building your identity, it will help you to know that, I need help. So it will reduce the pain that you are having for the other person that has hurt you. Because you have been able to mirror yourself, you've been able to see yourself, knowing fully well that, I got attracted to this man or this woman because I'm not normal too. And that is the beginning of your recovery and your healing process.
Reverend Funke, I'm going to read something to you.
Yes.
These are my notes for purposeful realignment.
I stole into your notes. It's the Holy Spirit. It's not my fault. Because I prayed before I started this.
The enemy attacks identity.
Yeah, identity.
We're talking about who am I? That's where we're starting from. Who am I? We need to know who we are. We're going back to the beginning. And this identity issue, you notice, even in Genesis, was what the serpent attacked when he said to the woman, did God say?
God said.
So I said, the enemy attacks identity, purpose, and the word of God. And that is why the abuser uses words to take your eyes
words. Oh God.
God. The word says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. But the abuser will tell you that you are not fearfully and wonderfully made. You are ugly. You are this. I was called bald because I was losing my hair. All kinds of names. When I told my story, I told the whole world that the favorite name I was called was Hall. Why?
Wow.
Because the enemy, Asha was the main name. That was the favorite name. So it comes to attack identity, purpose, the word of God. So in an abusive relationship, to heal,
you must build back your identity. You must know who you are and whose you are.
Yes, you must.
Now, the issue, identity conflict is a major issue in an abusive relationship.
Correct.
Do you know that Jesus had to build back his identity to be relevant even in ministry. Because we could have said, or we could have assumed that he also came from a dysfunctional home, quote and unquote. Father's figure is not there and all of that. I'm just quoting that. I'm not using it as I'm not using it as a theory, or I'm not using it as theology. I'm just picking it revelationally. Now, when Jesus built back his identity was when his father validates him. And that's why when you come for therapy, we address the root of father's issues. Now, when Jesus told John the Baptist, baptize me now, he said, no, you are God. He said, no, just do it now. As soon as he submitted himself to therapy, don't mind me, I see therapy everywhere. As soon as he submitted himself to therapy, heaven opened. And God said, this is my beloved son. Hear him. And that was the turning point. The moment he was heaven open and God validated, his father validated him. I'm sure he was walking, as if he was, lifting his shoulders, and he became very sure he could walk on the sea, could raise the dead. Identity theft is the weapon that the enemy used to destroy anyone that is married to an abuser. You will struggle with who you are. People will validate you. People will tell you are this. Say, no, that's not me. You crouch inside. You are walking as if you have a hunchback.
You're shrinking.
Yes. And the truth is, it is not you.
So when you talk about heaven opening and the Father validating, the question then becomes, what is heaven saying about you?
Exactly.
This is why the enemy attacks the word of God through words.
Yeah.
I come from a culture where incantation is used.
Yes. We fight the war of words.
So yes, it's a war of words. So yeah. It reminds me of the story of a young man that was kidnapped. Back in the day, he was kidnapped. This is when kidnapping had, just started. And he was kidnapped, and he was just speaking in tongues all through. And they got to the shrine, and the priest said, we can't use this one.
I don't know how to say that in English.
Cut him loose. So they let him loose,
glory.
And he went. Weeks, months, I don't remember. Later, somebody walked up to him and said, please, that incantation you were reciting on that day, please, where did you learn it? Can you teach me?
Yes, I know.
So he said the brother didn't know what he was talking about. And he said, I was one of those that kidnapped you.
Wow.
Hey. The language you were speaking, as you were speaking it, fire was coming out. Fire coming out of your mouth.
Come on now.
What is heaven saying about you? We need to fight the war of words. Yeah. They will say things to you. These things are things that God taught me and showed me. When I was in the midst of it, I didn't know what to do with it, but today, looking back, I am grateful that I know what I know now. What I didn't know then was that I needed to fight the war of words. And just, speak the word over my life. Yeah. And say, this is who I am. This is what God has called me to be. This is who God has called me to be. Instead of letting the abuser pummel me with words. I remember we visited a couple one time, and the woman, she works in the prophetic, said, God told me that you have buried this woman in words. Words are powerful. Words are powerful. And this is what the enemy comes to do, to attack identity, purpose, the word of God. Now, these are some things I'm going to be sharing in one of the groups we're doing. So, Reverend, go ahead.
Now, one thing I want to tell everyone that has been abused, or you're still being abused, is you need to forgive God.
And forgive yourself too.
God first, because a lot of people that have been abused asked so many questions. God, why?
Some of them have stopped following God. I heard of a sister
I've
recently.
seen, I have not exaggerate, over 5 clients that refuse to go to church. They just stop going to church. They stop following God and say, how would God do this to me if God is good?
But it's
If
not God.
So you need to forgive. God is not the one. Forgive God. It's not God that is hurting you. It's this man that is hurting you. And it's your background that brings the hurt. Then forgive yourself. We go through the circle of regrets when you are married to an abuser. The regret is terrible. You know why? When you are married to an abuser, you know you have a lot of losses. In that marriage, you have so much potentials. You came loaded, but you were wounded in that relationship. You came with so much. Now, looking at your life and looking at the lives of your mates or your contemporaries or people that you probably grew together, you are asking yourself, so what happens to my gift and my talent and my ability and my powers? So there's so much losses. You've lost so much that you are feeling, oh, what do I do? This is not fair. Then you are broken. So you need to forgive yourself and let go. Let me say something here. Sometimes when we are in an abusive relationship and we are privileged to be out, we become a wounded healer. That is Norma here that we're looking at today. She has become a wounded healer. Her mess has become her message. Somebody said wasted time. But the truth is, you cannot heal someone if you are still bleeding.
Your pain prepares you for purpose. Your pain prepares you for purpose.
Exactly. There's so
but
many.
One thing, sorry, doctor, one thing I want to say is these days, many people are trying to be healers when they haven't healed themselves.
No, yeah, they are bleeding on people. You can't give what you don't have.
You can't, you need to go through the process of healing.
Therapy, go through the process, heal. Now, let me explain something here, which is extremely important. When we're talking about healing, healing is like peeling an onion. It's in layers.
Yes.
And when you are peeling your onion, sometimes you shed tears. Some part of your life, it's in therapy. I've had a therapy session with one of my clients, and the way she wept, I just thought, because one thing I do is I give them their trauma timeline. They tell me about what has happened to them, their stories. And when I was peeling that part of her life, she was just wailing. I'm talking about, I held myself. I didn't want to wail with her. But I got to a particular spot. We started crying together. I had to hold her in my office and we were sobbing together. I wasn't exaggerating. It can't be less than 10 minutes. We were just there. And we had a tissue. Today, she's another wounded healer. Now, that is part. Now, what I don't want to tell her story. We're not going to leave here. But she was raped. She got pregnant. She was raped again. She got pregnant, had 2 kids. Then her husband just came to hoover her with love. Love bombed her. And she felt she didn't know the man has a personality disorder. She assumed that, oh, this man, no way. So she gave all. And she came from a wealthy home. So she gave all. The man just hoovered her with love. Love bombed her. And she just let her found love until the man started sleeping around. Who beat her. She couldn't go home to tell anyone. Because it's like she married out of pity.
Thank you. Marrying out of pity. That's another thing. Marrying out of pity, or marrying because I want to
Thinking the man is doing you a favor by marrying
parents. I want to escape my parents. I'm tired.
Yeah,
I want to marry. Some people, we have issues like that. We have, so somebody said, is it everybody that marries an abuser that has a dysfunctional background? Yes. Something happened.
Yes,
something happened.
Something happened.
Not necessarily
from your parents.
Not parents. Something happened that made you.
It could be a verbal, it could be a word that was said that you are not healed of, or you didn't go through the healing process, and that word became a haunting shadow that got you to a place of just, falling for one person that is not, reasonable. Let me put it that way.
Something as simple as, you think you can make it in life could traumatize a child. Something as simple as, shut up.
It's not even simple. Your word should be given with salt and grace. Yes.
I was listening to you, I think, and you told the story of a lady, when she was young, they were throwing a party for her. I don't know who it was. They were going to throw a party for her, and then she came out and said, go back there. She was traumatized. She felt rejected.
And that was it.
Even though the party was for her. So it doesn't necessarily mean that your parents did something to traumatize you. Something happened that traumatized you that you may not have shared with anybody, but you now meet this person who professes love. You believe them.
Bring you, love bombing you.
You believe them, and you bring your all
to the table.
Unfortunately. And some of them say they are Christians, and I think I did some videos on, are they really Christians? The Bible says by their fruit you will know them. They may have, I read a story today of a lady that said she raised her hand, but then she realized that, well, raising your hand, saying the sinner's prayer does not necessarily mean you have surrendered. So saying the sinner's prayer does not mean you are surrendered to Christ. It's a total package. You must surrender your heart, your spirit, your soul, serve God with everything that you have, in truth and in spirit, for you to truly say that you are a child of God. So some of these people are not even believers. Back in Ibadan, Orita Baptist Church, there was a man that came they said his Bible was this big. He came, married a sister on the night of the wedding. He said, yes, well, I came to church to find
I'm a Muslim. I'm a Muslim. I'll remain a Muslim. I'm just here to marry you but in my house, no Bible. My children are Muslim. There's no prayer. God. True story.
So something happened in the background of the male or the female that traumatized them and attracted them to somebody they thought was the ideal person. Now, in my own situation, I prayed and I believed that I received, apart from the revelation that he said he had, but I prayed and I believed that I received. It does not mean that I was wrong.
I don't want to tell you.
It doesn't mean that I was wrong. It just means that in the marriage, this person was not surrendered to Jesus Christ. Somebody said it would have been so good if we had worked together. Well, it didn't work, but it doesn't mean that you failed. The fact that your marriage failed does not mean that
person that
it wasn't for want of trying.
That person that is saying that is still living in guilt, condemnation, shame. The person that feels regret, the person is still regretting, oh, I wish. When you have almost lost your life into that relationship, it's just the mercy of God that brought you out. You are still thinking, I wish. You need help. Now, the truth is, that's why we don't put pressure on people to come to therapy. And we don't promote therapy, because the truth is, if you are sick, whether you like it or not, you will gravitate towards a physician by the time you know you are losing your breath. Now, how do you know you are healed? I think we should discuss that. When they are talking about your pain, they are talking about the person. You are not bitter anymore. I remember one of the days in my episode, I heard the person speaking downstairs and I was vomiting upstairs. The bitterness was all over my soul. I was bitter, I was puking, I hated. Now, the truth is, the healing is solid. I don't even wish evil. I'm not angry. I am chilling. But it took me over 15 years to get to where I am today. And that's why I tell people, you need that community support. Now, the truth is, after dealing with that, you have, like I said, you are peeling it, is like onion. When you look at your life and you see what is happening to you Probably with your kids, it's like, God, when would this end? But the truth is, your solid support system will always be there for you to be vulnerable to them. You have to learn to be vulnerable, to be open. When you are going into therapy, you are in the theater room. You don't wear your garments or your clothes at the theater table. You just open your heart and let your doctor fix it, and make sure the person that is helping you to heal, as it's either, I tell people, if you see someone, if God wants to take you somewhere, he either connect you to somebody who's already on the top or is on his way to the top. But that connection is extremely important. Or else you are going to be stuck. And when you are stuck, you become a lion. You become an aggressive woman or man, and your life will begin to speak negatively around. And it will affect your health, your wealth, your happiness, and even the children you are trying to save. The same thing will happen. So please get into therapy. You don't have an option. Get into therapy and heal. Like I said, healing is like peeling an onion. It's not going to happen suddenly. It's not a sudden journey. Some people, yesterday, one of my clients just told me, finally, I've done my divorce. I was so happy for her. We've been on it for 5 years. And we've been consistent. So you have to sit in therapy and heal. Now, sometimes you are numb. You are just there in that relationship. You don't want to, you just feel, I can't do anything again. You can still do something. You can take your life back. You can bounce back. You can dream again. You can have vision again.
Right.
You can become the best version of yourself again.
Absolutely.
You can take your life back. It's your life. And let me be honest with you.
That's what healing is about. Taking your life back, taking your power back, standing tall again, dreaming again, laughing again. I travel. I love to travel. That's one of the
you go to movies, you go to cinema, you just enjoy yourself.
Do something for yourself, for a change.
Another thing with people that are in this space is they don't really believe they can be happy again.
Correct.
They just don't believe. They felt their world is shattered.
Right.
And it's not true.
Especially if it's gone on for a long time.
Yes.
Long time. It's like, where do I start from? I don't have money. You don't have to have money to start over. You don't have to have money to start over. All you need is you.
Faith in you, man. Because loving yourself, man.
Choosing yourself
above.
Just love on yourself. Last Sunday, I took a picture and I posted it and I said, today I just decided to breathe. And I just enjoyed myself my whole day. I went home, I cooked all afternoon. I'm in a medical group right now. They're lifestyle medicine doctors, and we're doing lifestyle changes. Our diet, everything is changing. I'm loving myself.
Yeah.
So choose yourself. First of all, choose yourself. Don't let them trigger you.
They will trigger you, man.
That's one of the things
they will trigger you by campaigning you. Listen, there are people on your contacts that you must delete or block.
Delete the deletables, block the
blockables. The truth is, if you don't delete, there was now sometimes I don't know if you have been in this space that you thought a wound is healed, right? And you peel it a little bit and it starts to bleed again.
Right.
You don't want to start bleeding back to back. So the first thing is isolate yourself. Stay in your support system group. Die with your support system. Stay there. Enjoy them. Hurt each other. Talk to each other. Confront each other. And some people who are in an abusive relationship, they really don't like confrontation. Some of them don't like the truth because they have their struggles. And I said something in one of the interviews I had with someone. I said, if you are married to a woman that is toxic, you have your subliminal weaknesses. Yours could be pride. Yours could be sex. Yours could be financial weakness. Whatever the weaknesses are, that's why if you go to a therapist that is thorough, the therapist will help you to break things down, asking you, okay, why did you get attracted to this man in the first place? Because if you can't trace it, you can't embrace it, you can't erase it, and you cannot replace it. So my nickname is Trace It, Embrace It, erase it and start replacing it. Thank you.
So glad you joined us today. Please like, share, and subscribe. God bless you.